Hey, Forest School. Jamie here. Back at the creek, Pine Creek. Back with my funny hat. Keeping the bugs away. It's May. I cannot believe it. Good month. I like spending a lot of time by this creek out in this time of year because so much life grows around rivers and creeks. It's fun, it's refreshing. Throw water on your face. And because it's May, because so much life has grown around here, the plant of the day this week is going to be a plant called, let's see, Mayapple. Now, Mayapple, as you may think, gets its name from the month of May, and it's not an apple tree, but it's a plant that when it flowers, it looks like an apple flower bloom. So Mayapple, they like to grow near rivers and creeks. They like to grow in deciduous forests where there's some shade. Now, do you remember what deciduous means? We've talked about that before. If you're thinking that deciduous means with the trees that they'll lose their leaves every fall and winter and then grow them back, that's the deciduous tree, deciduous forest. And then the opposite, well, the other is the conifer, which, like we've talked about in forest school with those evergreens and hemlocks. Actually, I believe this is a hemlock tree right here. We've talked about that in forest school. So this forest around here, there's both deciduous and conifer trees, but they like a lot of shade. So let's go find some. I saw some over here, and we'll go check out the Mayapple. Still works. Still works. Woo. Back down this way. Real quick though, guys, that is the swamp cabbage again. So they kind of are popping up all over still. It's really nice to be able to identify them and whatnot. All right, so looking out right here, you see these little plants that are about a foot off the ground right now, maybe a foot and a half. You can see that they've popped up in a big cluster, whole family. That's very common with Mayapple. They'll pop up in a big group like this. And so that's one way to be able to identify them. Another way is just by their leaf. It's very unique looking. And so we'll get down right around here. And first thing with their leaf, this is actually one leaf. Even though it looks like each one all over, it's actually one leaf that is connected by the stem right in the middle of them. You can kind of see the bottom. Now, if you have your pencil and paper out, try drawing these here. It almost looks like a big umbrella, and you can get all the leaves in a long stem. They almost look like hearts here, don't they? And so they grow in May. They kind of look like umbrellas, and there's a lot of rain, so maybe they even serve as a little shelter for insects and bugs, things like that sometimes. What is really cool about the Mayapple is they have a flower, and not all of them will flower. So not every single Mayapple plant is going to flower. but there is a way to be able to tell which ones will flower and which ones will produce a fruit. So when you're looking for the ones that will flower, it's actually very easy to spot. If it has one leaf, it's not gonna flower that year. But if it has two leaves, like this one right here, you can see there's one stem going up to this one, that's one full leaf here, and then one stem going up to this one, that's one full leaf there, so there's two. And you can see the bud of the flower right here that is still enclosed, but given another couple weeks or so, it's gonna turn into a nice flower. The thing with this though, the flowers, they actually flower on the underside of the leaf, so you have to really kind of get down low to look at it, but it's really beautiful when you are able to see it. When the flower, after the flower, it does bear fruit. So that's where the little Mayapple name again comes in. And the fruit itself, when it's ripe, is edible. But before it's ripe, it'll be green still. You don't want to eat that. It will make you very sick. So the only part of this plant that is edible, which means that you can eat, is going to be that ripe fruit when it's a nice yellow ripeness to it. Nothing else on this plant you want to eat. The root of the plant though, that is something that's been used in traditional medicines too. There's a lot of nice benefits there, so if you know somebody who is an herbalist, really familiar with plants, they might be able to tell you a lot more about the beneficial aspects of the root here. And there are certain parts of the root, they have the same properties, which means the same chemicals as modern day medicine uses to treat cancers. That's something that I read recently, so you could look into that more if it interests you. Another thing with the flowers too, around this time of year, there's a lot of pollinators out. I just started beekeeping, so I'm really interested in these, but bees will like the flowers, butterflies, beetles, things like that. They'll be able to pollinate them. Now the Mayapple, it is a plant that will come back year after year. You don't have to reseed it. Do you remember what that's called? A perennial. If you're thinking that, then you're correct. So the Mayapple plant, again, it comes out early May. It flowers, and then there's a fruit that you can eat. Some people even make jams with it. And lastly, the Mayapple is native to the eastern North America. So that's Canada and the United States. It's native to that area. Another name for native that you may hear somebody say is that it's indigenous to the area. So that means that it naturally has grown and evolved with this area here. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for the little fruits come end of May, June, but I hear that the squirrels really like them too. So we may be in competition with the squirrels. They might get it before I can, but I'm gonna check back and I'll let you guys know if I find any delicious fruits. Thanks guys, have a great day.